profile on whoever's been harassing me, especially over the last 10 years, but it's been over 40 years. It's just that, like, over the last 10 years, I became aware that somebody really was involved in, like, what I'm calling a time-lapse murder of me, beginning back around 1978, 1979. That's when it started, and well, it started before then, okay? I can trace this thing back. I gotta say, what's occurring to me now is the night I drove home from play practice at that Catholic school I went to for 1 year, 1970 to 1971 academic year. And I was in this play, and sometimes that play practice coming up on opening night would last very late. 11, 12. For high school kids, this is very late, especially you had to drive home as far as I did from that school, right? The school was down near it's called the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. It's a gigantic Romanesque cathedral of the Catholic Church in Northeast Washington, D.C., and this particular school is very nearby that church. So I'd say that the drive from there to where I lived in Bethesda, Maryland, must have taken at least 40 minutes, even when there was no traffic at all. Okay, so, and I'm remembering how this one night I'm coming home from that play practice. It's very late. And, by the way, let me mention that the director had chosen me to be the lead of that play. He had chosen me to be the music man in the musical The Music Man, but he was overruled by the school's principal. Okay, and so that set those two at odds, and like around a week or so before the play was to go before the public, the director, who had become at odds with the principal over the matter of me as his choice for the lead of that play being overruled by the principal, he was fired as director. And a new director came in from another school only like 1 week before we were about to put that play on. Okay, so there I was coming home late at night from this turmoil situation at the school, and I noticed I was being followed. And I was thinking, weird, so I was like hurrying up, thinking, let me get away from this person who's following me. I mean, I started noticing I was being followed when I was still back in D.C., like near the neighborhood where I was born in D.C. Okay, I started noticing way back there. That's toward the beginning of the trip home. So as I'm going down streets in Northwest Washington toward Chevy Chase and so on, it's completely deserted streets. There's nobody driving at that time of night at that time. Here's this car following me, and even if I speeded up and stayed following me. Well, I got home. I didn't realize I was going to do this, but talk about this. But here, let me say, because this harassment of me goes all the way back to events like that. So when I got to my neighborhood, I said, the car was still behind me on completely deserted streets. I said, my God, I'm going to lose this car here. So I just cut loose through our neighborhood thinking, there's no way this car's going to be able to follow me now. I'm just going to burn through these streets and I'll lose that car for sure. So I did that. And I got home and I noticed my parents weren't home, which is very odd because usually my mother would tell me, America's Man of the Year would never tell me anything, but my mother would tell me, we're not going to be home when you get home, we're going out tonight, and so on. She would inform me, but I got home and the parents are not there. This was a big surprise. The brothers and sisters were all asleep. I come in the house, and I'm in my socks, walking around in the house, whatever I was doing, and the doorbell rings. So I go to the door and I open it, and there's two policemen standing there. And they look like they're wearing brand new uniforms. Like, just out of the box. They were presented new uniforms and they took them out of the box and put them on. Crisp, brand new, never worn before. And everything perfect on those uniforms. The tie just right, or if they had a tie, whatever. Buttoned up and everything perfect. And they're standing there. And I'm saying... And they say to me when I open the door, were you driving that car out there? I said, yes. I didn't lie, of course. And they said, you were driving at a terrific rate of speed. We could take you into the station right now and book you and charge you with this or that crime. And I'm thinking, my God. Now, I didn't even think when I was being accused this way of telling these two men that I thought I was being followed by somebody, which was scaring me. I didn't even think to defend myself that way. I didn't even think of it. It didn't occur to me to tell them, hey, were you the car following me all the way from school home? Because you scared the hell out of me, and I was trying to hurry up to get away from you. I thought you were some kind of a criminal following me. I didn't even think about that. And these two guys are accusing me this way. Okay, so it's now approaching 2 a.m. I'm in my 70s, and I've been under this bizarre life where I've been falsely accused for most of my life, one way or another. And I've persevered through all these false accusations. I've worked, I've gotten educated, and I even made it to retirement. And I've been married for over 30 years, and so on and so forth. And I've done all these things, and yet I'm always being accused over and over in the most bizarre ways. And now I'm finding that for the past 10 years, this harassment of me has gone all the way back to moments like the one I just described. And I could go on telling about others, because now everything is falling into place as understandable, whereas for years and years and years and years, I was never able to understand why I was the focus of all this hostility. I got a tear in my right eye. Okay, I don't know where it's from. So, now I'm saying that I've been targeted by a microwave weapon now for over 40 years, and that this weapon has been developed in a kind of research process with me as the experimental animal for the development of this weapon. And in addition, the people using this weapon on me have caused me severe health problems over 40 years. They've made a kind of invalid out of me. And And I can look back at the way things have gone in my life and say that this group of harassers, it's been involved in making sure that nothing I've tried to do will come to any kind of success. They're in there working behind the scenes to ruin everything I've tried to do. And I'm a very capable person, as I've proved by the things I have actually managed to do, in spite of all the opposition I've faced. So, I gotta say that this group of harassers, you know what it is? It's the secret police of the United States of America. That's who it is. And these folks, they are behind the murder of my step-grandfather. The shot of radiation poisoning I got in the completely fraudulent, involuntary commitment that wrecked my life when I was 28. The murder of my grandfather, an old man in a nursing home. He was murdered in there by these folks. And the murder of my uncle and his son. I'm going to say that son must have been murdered as well, no matter what is said about the way he passed away. I'm going to say that entire fraud, described even in news reports of how my uncle was murdered, is as great a fraud as what went down to declare me to be Fruit Loop crazy when I was 28, as I have proved across my lifetime by the things I've done, is an outrageous crime on the level of an atrocity against me in my life, and it included a shot of radiation poisoning, I'm saying, meant to kill me at that time, and I survived. Now, I'm saying, behind all these murders and murder attempts is the secret police of the United States of America. I'm saying that. And, do I gotta say suspected secret of police so somebody's not breaking down my door and hauling me off to be murdered and have someone say this or that happened to him? Why have the secret police been doing this to me? They've been doing it because America's Man of the Year, their buddy, who may have been an undercover agent of theirs, he committed crimes with them, and I was someone who didn't get along with America's Man of the Year. I didn't like him, and he didn't like me. So, for that reason, a lot of others, these folks have not liked me at all. And so what they've been doing to me over the past 40 years is keep me from succeeding. And nevertheless, I have managed to succeed at things that most people would say, oh boy, you succeeded at this or that, you bought a house. Ooh. You went to Landon School and were at one time first in your class. And you're proud that you were able to buy a house. Well, I was. But the way these folks have painted me up to be just as crazy as a loony bin trip, that is an accomplishment. That I was able to buy a house through all their opposition trying to ruin everything I've ever done as an adult. So they're doing this because they are guilty of crimes, and I'm a potential witness against them. That's why they're doing it. Now, I gotta say to myself, Will they be knocking down my door and arresting me for making comments like this? I don't know. So I'm going to say these are suspicions of mine. Of course, I can't be certain of these accusations. And I got to say that I'm talking about the secret police of the United States, and some people would say, what the hell do you mean by that? There is no such thing, right? If I was more precise, identifying certain specific law enforcement businesses, let's call them, then maybe I'd be guilty of slander or whatever the crime might be. But the secret police of the United States, some people would say there's no such thing. So you're gonna come and arrest me for making an accusation against an entity that doesn't even exist? Wow. Wow, am I disgusted with the lies and the liars of the United States of America? Am I disgusted? Well, today is the 6th of June, 2026. Well, let's see. Is it or has it passed over midnight? Yeah, it's now, well, is it the 6th or the 7th? I'm wondering. Take a look here at another phone. It's the 7th. It's Sunday, the 7th of June, 2026, and the time is 14:50 in Tokyo, Japan. Bye for now.